All right, let's talk AI buzzwords. You're probably hearing generative AI, AI agents, and agentic AI thrown around all the time. And you might be thinking, okay, what's the real difference here? Well, you're not alone. And in the next few minutes, we're going to cut right through all that jargon and give you a super simple, clear way to understand exactly what each one is and how they all connect.
So let's just get right to it. What is the real difference? Because these terms might sound like they're just different ways of saying the same thing, but they're not. They actually represent a huge evolution in what AI can do. So let's break that evolution down, step by step, so you know exactly what we're talking about and why it's such a big deal.
And here's our game plan. We're going to start with the foundation, the thing most people know, generative AI. Then we'll look at its first major upgrade, the AI agent. From there, we'll jump to the next level, agentic AI. And finally, we'll put it all together in a nice, simple summary. Sound good? Let's start at the beginning.
Okay, first up, generative AI. This is the one you've definitely played with. It's the bedrock, the foundation that everything else we're talking about today is built on top of.
So what it boils down to is this. You take these massive models, we're talking the heavy hitters here, like GPT-4 or Llama 3, and you train them on a gigantic data set of past information. Their whole job is to learn the patterns from all that data so they can create something totally new and original. New text, new images, you name it. And this isn't just about writing emails, right? It's how AI image generators can create incredible art from a few words, or how AI tools can compose a piece of music. The basic deal is always the same. You give it an input, a prompt, and it generates a brand new response.
And that leads us to the single most important word to describe generative AI. It is reactive. It doesn't do a single thing until you ask it to. It just sits there, waiting for your command, like write a poem about space or draw a cat riding a skateboard. Only then does it spring into action. So remember that word, reactive.
Now, that whole reactive thing, it has one pretty big limitation. The AI is only as smart as the data it was trained on, which is all in the past. And this is where we get our first big upgrade, the AI agent. Exactly. This is the key question. What happens if you ask a standard large language model, hey, who won the big game that just ended an hour ago? It has no idea. It can't tell you. That game happened after its training was finished. It's completely disconnected from the live, real world. And the solution to that problem is the AI agent. The best way to think about it is like taking a normal generative AI model and giving it a toolkit. These tools are basically connections to the outside world, things like a web search API that let it go out and get information that wasn't in its original training. So let's trace how this works. Step 1, you give it a prompt it can't answer on its own, like what are today's top news stories? Now, here's the cool part. In step 2, the LLM is smart enough to realize it doesn't know, so it makes what's called a tool call. It picks the right tool for the job, in this case a web search, and uses it. That tool goes out, gets the info, and in step 3, sends it back. And finally, the LLM uses its generative power to summarize that new information into a perfect answer for you.
And this, right here, is the key difference. Unlike that purely reactive model we started with, an AI agent is proactive. It doesn't just sit and wait for you to give it all the answers. It realizes it has a knowledge gap, and it takes the initiative to go out into the world and find the missing piece. That is a huge change in how it behaves.
Okay, so an AI agent is great for a single, specific task that needs outside info. But what about more complex problems? You know, the kind with multiple steps? For that, we've got to go to the next level.
Let's use a really great practical example. Imagine you want to automate the entire process of turning one of your YouTube videos into a well-written blog post. Now, that's not just one simple task, is it? It's a whole workflow. So when you actually break this big job down, you see it's really a chain of smaller, more manageable jobs. You could have one specialized AI agent that does nothing but transcribe the audio from the video. Then you hand that transcript to another agent who's a total specialist at writing catchy titles. A third agent drafts the description, and a fourth one writes a great conclusion. See, each step becomes a perfect little task for a dedicated agent. And that, my friends, is the whole idea behind agentic AI. It's not about one agent working all by itself. It's a system, it's a team of specialized AI agents all working together, communicating with each other to tackle a complex workflow and achieve a much bigger goal. This idea right here, collaborating with each other to solve a goal, that's the magic ingredient. It's everything.
Just like a team of people, these agents don't work in a vacuum. They have to communicate. The title-writing agent can't even start its job until it gets that finished transcript from the first agent. That handoff, that cooperation, that's what makes a system agentic.
Okay, we've covered the three big concepts. So now let's put them side by side on one slide so you can really see that evolution nice and clearly.
Let's just walk through this. We start with generative AI. Its core function, generating content. Its scope, a single prompt. And its key trait, it's reactive. Then we level up to the AI agent. Its function evolves to performing a single task. And it does this by being proactive. And finally, agentic AI levels up again to execute an entire workflow. And how does it do that? By being collaborative. You can literally see the journey right there in that bottom row. From reactive to proactive to collaborative. That, in a nutshell, is the evolution we're seeing in AI right now.
So this all brings us to the really fun question. Now that you can think in terms of a collaborative team of little AI agents, what complex, maybe even annoying, time-consuming workflow in your job or your life would you want to hand off to them? Because the possibilities here, well, they're really just starting to open up.